This segment is on the functions of the liver. It's important at this point to separately discuss the metabolic regulation and the hematological regulation of the liver. Remember, the liver has three main functions: metabolic regulation, hematologic regulation, and bile production. The bile production was discussed with digestion, so here we will start with metabolic regulation. Metabolic regulation means the regulation of metabolism, which basically means regulating the amount of macromolecules and nutrients in the bloodstream and tissues. It is the liver's job to maintain the proper levels of these in the blood. As the blood enters the liver, it is the liver's job to determine that the blood has the proper amounts of glucose, lipids, amino acids, and vitamins. It has to keep blood glucose, lipids, and amino acids at their proper levels. For example, blood glucose levels need to be kept at around 90 milligrams per deciliter. So if the blood glucose levels go up, the liver cells, called hepatocytes, will remove it from the bloodstream and store it as glycogen, or use it to make other lipids that can be stored in the liver or other tissues. If the blood glucose drops, these hepatocytes will then break down the glycogen to release glucose, and they will also make glucose from other compounds, and this we call gluconeogenesis. The same concept holds true for lipids and amino acids. If there are too many lipids and amino acids, they will be taken out of circulation and stored as fats and proteins. If there aren't enough lipids and amino acids, the stored fats and proteins will be broken down into lipids and amino acids. When amino acids are broken down, this process will create a waste product called ammonia. The liver will convert this to urea, which will be excreted by the kidneys in the urine. Also, metabolically, the liver will store vitamins such as vitamins A, D, E, K, and B12 that will be released if your diet doesn't contain enough of these vitamins. The liver will also store minerals such as iron. The liver also inactivates drugs that are circulating in the bloodstream. Physicians must take this into account when prescribing particular drugs and must account for how fast the liver can remove the drug from circulation. A drug that is absorbed quickly must be administered every few hours to maintain the concentration in the blood. The other job the liver has deals with hematological regulation. This means the regulation of plasma proteins, hormones, and toxins in the bloodstream. The Kupffer cells in the liver will engulf old or damaged red blood cells, debris from old cells, and pathogens such as bacteria and viruses. These cells will then help to produce an immune response. The liver produces the plasma proteins that were discussed in a different segment. These plasma proteins include albumins, fibrinogens, transport proteins, and complement proteins. Albumins help with the osmotic pressure of blood, drawing water into the lumen of blood vessels. Fibrinogens are converted to a form that helps with blood clotting. The liver also removes circulating hormones from the bloodstream. Hormones such as epinephrine, norepinephrine, insulin, thyroid hormones, and steroid hormones are absorbed in the liver from the blood. The liver also absorbs vitamin D3, called cholecalciferol. Vitamin D3 was created in the skin with the help of sunlight, or else was absorbed in the diet. The liver converts this vitamin D3 to a different form and then releases it back into circulation, where it will travel to the kidney and be used to make calcitriol. Calcitriol is a hormone needed to absorb calcium. The liver also removes antibodies from circulation. Antibodies are proteins which the liver will then break down into amino acids so that they can be recycled to make new proteins. And the last hematological thing that the liver does is to remove toxins from the blood. Certain toxins that we ingest in our diet are absorbed by the liver and stored in lipid deposits, where they cannot disrupt cellular functions, or the liver will break down toxins and excrete them in the bile.